Okay, so this is today's class. Today's a Wednesday, and we have a photo here of a town in N- in Norfolk, which is in the east of the UK in England. Would any Now, Michael, you came into the class first, so you're due to read first. Hopefully, you'll be okay doing that. Do you want to describe anything that you see in this photo? So this is really a chance for you to practice English, to practice conversation maybe, or practice your description, your
Yeah,
ability to describe, I should say.
yeah. On this picture, I see the narrow cobblestone street.
Right, it's quite narrow. It's not wide. Yes, okay,
Yes,
yes.
narrow, and the road, it's cobblestone. I don't know. It looks like.
Yes,
Yeah,
cobblestone. That's a good
yeah.
description.
The There are few trees on this picture. To be
I can see
honest,
one
it's
tree, yes.
one tree. Yeah, I see the this road is. I see the road sign which say that it's a road with one direction. You can,
Yeah.
if you
So that's,
use, if you drive a car, you can use
yeah.
only in one direction.
So
Yes, it's
we'd say sort of a one way road or a one
one.
way street, maybe one way sign. That's it. Yeah, you've got it. Yeah, spot on.
Yes, it's very fancy houses. Um, I
Mm,
think it's old, pretty old. I don't know what the era of what did the um,
mm,
years, but it's traditional houses with the
yes.
traditional buildings for I don't know for Europe, for UK maybe England, um,
Yes,
but I
very
think
good.
it's not conveniently live inside. And
So it's not convenient to live inside. They might be nice to look at from the
yeah,
outside, I think you're saying, but inside it might be not quite the same. That's very good. Well done, Michael. I can't really add to that, really, what you said there. So it's Xinyi. Is there anything here that you want to add to that? Have you seen this type of photo before? Have you seen these types of houses in the UK? Because I think you're in the UK, I think you said. So you're in Britain somewhere. I can't actually hear you at the moment. Are you muted, Shinji?
Oh, sorry, I mute myself.
Yeah, okay. Anything you'd like to add to what Michael was saying as he was describing this photo? So really, this is an opportunity for you to practice a little bit of English, spoken English, and your ability to describe things. What do you
O-
see? Perhaps the colours if
Okay.
you can't describe it. I don't know.
Um, it seems like old, a
Oh,
small town in
old, quite
UK.
old.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right, in the
small
town.
town. There is a very narrow street, and
Hmm.
the house is very traditional, maybe UK style.
Hmm.
Um, but it looks very quiet. Uh,
Yes, very quiet.
yeah, very quiet and cozy.
That's a good description. A lot of people would say this is something almost cozy. So if something's cozy, it's sort of very welcoming, very comfortable in some way or other. Oh, yeah, carry on, sorry.
Okay. Uh, I don't know how to say.
Yeah,
It
so
looks very
maybe
colorful.
it is colourful. Can I
Yeah,
just can you see where my cursor is? On my screen, I'm going around something on the screen. There's one there, and there's another one in the distance down there. Can you see what I'm sort of highlighting with the sort of my pointer, my cursor? Well, it's
it's a
pointer really, isn't it?
it's a
Do you know what
light.
they are?
It's a light, but I don't know how to say what type of light is.
Yeah, that's it. You've got it. It's a light. And there is actually another one on the other side of the road over here. So these are lights. but the style is sort of, I think, again, it's sort of traditional to what might have existed when these houses were built, or something, or quite an old style light. And we might describe these as lanterns.
Lantern.
Lantern, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. So many, many years ago, glass was probably quite expensive, and so I'm assuming it actually is glass in these lanterns. But if you look at them, the color, it isn't sort of clear. Glasses, we think of it being clear or white. This has a sort of a yellowy, orangey color to it. And many, many years ago, they used to make these sort of semi-transparent layers out of horns. You know, the animals have horns growing out their heads, where you could actually make a sort of a semi-transparent substance out of horn. And that does look a little bit like horn to me, but maybe it isn't. So well done, Shinyi. That was very good. Over to Giuseppe. Anything you'd like to add here that you noticed?
Mm. And the street is made by stone, little stone.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we often call this something. It look, it's not a perfect picture of the road, but it looks to be cobblestone. Cobblestone. That's what we would describe this road as, I think. So
Oh, okay.
well done, Shin Yi. So you've had your chance now. So if you can stop for a moment, and I'll now give Giuseppe a chance to describe this photo. So
Yeah,
Giuseppe, anything you can
thank
see
you.
here you'd like to talk about?
Oh, yes, maybe something about the colors of the houses,
Hmm.
because colors are very uh, delicate, I'd say.
Hmm.
Pastel color, maybe. Uh,
Pastel.
pastel color.
Hmm.
And also about the lanterns, I think the color of the glass or the glasses
Hmm.
is good to have warm light at night,
Yes. Yes.
so to create kind of atmosphere. And yeah, I don't see signs, but yeah, I have a question about the cobblestone road. Mm, could I call this road a lane?
Yeah, I think yeah, lane is a possibility.
Mhm,
Although maybe not very precisely.
mhm.
Um, I think really because it's in a town, I would simply just call it a road, but maybe just say a cobblestone road.
Okay.
That's how I would describe it. Yes, thank you very much. Anything else, Giuseppe?
No, so
That's okay.
thank you.
Thank you. So, Alex, can you see the photo okay? So this is a chance for you to practice your English a little bit. So can you describe anything in the photo? Or do you have
Thank you,
any?
Mr. Tony. Thank you for this opportunity. Yep, yeah, I will try to subscribe some this photo, but uh, I know the members has already told a lot
Hmm.
and a lot of fact about these pictures, and I don't know what to add. Maybe
That
I can only say the same. That there are a lot of old ancient buildings and
ancient buildings is ancient.
ancient
That's
ancient.
it.
Thank you. And also were an ancient roads with made from stones. And I don't know, it's London, as we know already. Um, I don't know what to add else.
Yeah, that's okay. I think you said this might be London, or you weren't sure if this was London. No, this isn't London, not London. Do you want to say London again, just to practice the word London?
Do you mean city London?
I thought at one point you said the name of the city London. That's what it sounded like, London. Did you say London?
London?
So this is the capital of the UK, London. I thought maybe you said that. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's okay. Okay, we'll leave it there
But
then, Alex.
but it's look like a countryside, you know. It's not look like London.
Ah, it doesn't look like London. I've got you. Yes.
Yeah, I mean about this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. I think you're right. This is not London. So, Joanna, would you like to? Is there anything here you can see and describe
Mm,
that hasn't already been done? You can do the same things again if you want to. Talk about the same things
well,
again.
there's one chimney at the very end of the picture. Yeah, that one. I don't know if I
Yeah.
pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. So chimney,
Yeah.
chimney.
Chimney.
Yeah.
One chimney. Yeah,
What
the
is this?
road is made by small rocks put it together.
We normally say stones,
Oh,
small stones. These would be.
stones. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cobblestones.
Cobblestones. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to add. There is one tree over there.
Hmm.
There are one blue signal. That means it's only one way to go.
That's right. We wouldn't say signal, we'd say sign. That's a
Um,
sign, a road sign. That's
mm-hmm.
it. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. That's good. Well done. Well done,
I,
everybody.
I I
Well done.
guess it's calm and peace countryside.
Yes, it's a bit more in the countryside. That's how it looks, doesn't it? So the one thing I notice is that if you look at the houses on this side, not the other side so much, they all seem to be overhanging a little bit. So the first floor or the ground floor is sort of perhaps a meter away from the edge of the road, or half a meter maybe. But if you go up to the first floor, it sort of juts out a little bit. Can you see that? If you're on a mobile phone, it's not obvious, I suppose. But I'm on a laptop, I can see it. So here there's a drain pipe, and it has to shoot out. I don't know how much it is. It might be half a meter or something. And this style here is called jetting. I think it's pronounced jetting. I think it's pronounced or spelt that way, I think, or jettying. I've written jetting here, but I think it could also be jettying. And when you say something jets out or jetties out, it sort of sticks out, is what it's saying. And this was something they did in the medieval times when they made houses. So the ground floor is smaller than the upper floor. So the upper floor is bigger than downstairs, which is strange, isn't it? Okay, so in this style, we have wood and then white, or these black lines. That's called half timbering, half timbering. Okay, let's go over to the story then that relates to this photo. Here we go. This photo comes from the Mirror newspaper, and this is a story that came in today's newspaper. I think it's today, isn't it? Yeah. So let me read the title for you. So, Fairy Tale UK City packed with independent bookshops and traditional tea rooms. So they say traditional. They talk about it being traditional as well. But they also describe it as fairy tale. Fairy tale. So it's a little bit too perfect in some ways. It's a very sort of a perfect picture, that is. And then just below the main title, there's a second sort of a description here, and it says, a UK city of stories where independent bookshops stacked to the ceiling with novels sitting alongside traditional tea rooms, making the perfect weekend escape for book lovers. So they keep talking about bookshops and books. So I couldn't see any bookshops here, but so maybe there are some. So let's scroll down then. So Michael, are you okay reading this little bit in the article here? So perhaps read as much as you want. I think Michael's quite good, so over to you, Michael, if that's okay.
Okay. A delightful UK city bursting with independent bookshops and cafes makes for an ideal retreat for bibliophi- bibliophiles
Hmm.
or those keen to discover the city of stories. Strolling through Norwich in Norfolk on a weekend break is enough to whisk you away to another world, courtesy of its medieval and timber framed buildings. Narrow lanes and cobbled streets are lined with more than 500 independent shops offering homeware treasures, gifts, and vintage clothing alongside traditional tea rooms, cafes, restaurants, and bars. Yet it's the collection of independent bookshops, stacked floor to ceiling with novels and snug reading nooks, that truly steals the show. It comes as little surprise to stumble upon such a treasure trove of bookshops in the City of Stories, England's first UNESCO City of Literature.
Mm. Very well read. Brilliant, in fact. Well done. Okay, so you read from there down to there. And make this slightly large. Well, I'll leave it as it is for the moment, but next time I'll make it slightly larger for the next person, I think. So it's a bit on the small side, these words are. So is there anything there that you want to go back over again? You perhaps didn't understand it maybe, or you want to check the pronunciation, Michael? Anything like that?
Uh, about bibliophiles or bibliophiles.
Yeah, the files. So biblio and then files. That's it. Yes, bibliophiles. Any idea what it means, Michael?
Yes, I understand. It's
Oh,
someone who loves read
yeah.
books.
Yeah, that's right.
Biblia is Greek words
That's it. Yes. So the
like
files bit means loves or lover, lover, and biblio,
pedophile.
a bit like Bible, means books. That's it. You've got it. Anything else?
Bibliophiles, yeah, not
Actually,
by Biblia.
yeah, you've got yeah, bibliophiles. That's it. Bibliophiles. Anything else?
And the phrase whisk you away, whisk away. It's a phrasal verb, I suppose. I think
Yeah.
whisk away.
So I think really you may talk about whisking away. So that might be jump on the train and jump down to this place to have a visit and perhaps a holiday there. Yeah, whisk you away. Yes. So when you're cooking and you have some egg white and you have egg whites and you want to make them into a meringue, you can have a little a tool called a whisk and you run that through the egg whites and you gradually turn it into meringue by you push air into the egg whites with a whisk, but you have to move a whisk extremely quickly to make it to make the egg whites turn into meringue. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So these are whisks down here. These are pictures
Mhm.
of whisks. So this
Yeah,
is a tool you use when you're mixing something in the kitchen, a whisk. But you have to move them incredibly quickly if you're done cooking, and that's the idea. So move quickly. That's the idea with a whisk, I think. So it's a day trip, a very quick day trip away. They're saying, talking about, I think, really. Indeed, it says a weekend break.
medieval timber frame building. Timber.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. So timber frame building. So that's the name of. If I show you back to that photo again. oh, not that one, but this photo. So perhaps not these ones so clearly, but on the other side of the road where my cursor is, where you can see there's black lines and white lines. This is the black bits are meant to be wood, and that's the wooden frame that sort of holds the building up. The white bit in the middle is just anything. It's just sort of filled up to stop the wind coming through. It could almost be anything. It could be mud, could be bricks, could be cement. But it's the wooden bit is the frame that holds the building sort of solid, holds it, sort of keeps it firm. And so that style of building, and lots of in the 500 years ago, that was pretty much the only way, well, most way buildings were built, and they're called timber framed buildings. They still make buildings in that same way, but it doesn't look quite the same. So timber frames, a type of building. So they don't really use brick as the main thing, as the structural thing. It's wood is the structural element in a timber frame building.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, is the correct pronunciation cafes? It's like
It's more cafe, cafe. Yeah, I know it's an E there, but this is the French sort of notation.
yeah, yeah,
So
cafe.
cafe, that's it.
And I think the last it's book stock stacked floor to ceiling with novels and snug reading nooks
Yes.
and
So yeah,
snug reading nooks.
yeah, okay. So stacked floor to ceiling with novels and snug reading nooks. So this bit is talking about the books themselves. That's talking about the
Yeah.
books. On the ground, they
Fire.
have loads of books going up to the ceiling. That's what it's saying. And this last piece here is saying this is where you might read the book. These are thick places where you might read the book. And a little nook is a small, tight place. I guess it'd have to be the size of a person. So it might be a corner or just a strange shape in the building where you can just fit in there and read a book. It doesn't
Uh,
mention a chair. If something is snug, it's nice and comfortable and probably warm.
yeah.
Sometimes in a pub, when you go into a pub in the UK, they talk about, go into the snug, and that might be, you can have your drink there. And the snug would be like a small room, very small room. There may only be 3 or 4 or 5 people in there, only a very small number of people. But often there's some sort of source of heat, so there could be a fire in there, perhaps even a log fire or coal fire in there. So, so a snug is a warm place, and a nook. Sometimes we talk about nooks and crannies, and they basically mean the same thing. So a nook is just a very small, tight place. Okay, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
That's it. Okay. It says a treasure trove. So what is a treasure trove? Well, maybe what's the word trove, I guess. What does that mean, Michael? Any idea?
Treasure, it's
Yeah, we know that one, I guess.
something very values with it's like uh, brilliant
Yeah.
treasure trove, maybe big piles, big bookshelves
Yeah.
with different books, with old books, which mean
Let me,
like
okay, I've put the word trove in the dictionary. So trove, as it describes here, it almost always goes with the word treasure. When you're talking about treasure, you talk about a treasure trove. And if you were perhaps you do some metal detecting, so you use a special machine to detect if there's metal buried in the ground. If you find treasure, you always talk about it as being a treasure trove. So let's click on the phrase treasure trove. And what it says there. So if you describe something, let's go back up again. If you describe something or someone as a treasure trove of a particular thing, you mean that you are a very good or a rich source of that thing. So it could be you're a rich source of information. So you are a treasure trove of information, or you are a treasure trove of suggestions, maybe. So this is the one that we have in our sort of passage here, I think. So let me read this one then. So you can refer to a collection of valuable objects as a treasure trove. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a, yeah, those two words often go together. I don't know if trove in itself has its own meaning. It probably does, but I just don't know what it is, I think. Okay, that's good. How about these two names? So these are two place names. So could you just say them again, just for practice, Michael?
Norwich. Norwich in Norfolk.
Yeah, I
Norfolk.
think
Norfolk. Norfolk.
yeah,
Norfolk.
your Norfolk is pretty good. Yeah, so Norfolk,
No.
Norfolk, that's it. And so it's just Nor and then folk, you could say, but we sort of say it as Norfolk, Norfolk. The Nor bit really sort of indicates north, not south or east or west, but north. That's really where it comes from. And folk just means people. So north people. That's what it really means. The first word, again, it's Nor again. So we pronounce this as Norwich. Norwich. So the W is silent, I would say, really. So Norwich. Norwich.
Norwich.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Norwich.
it. Spot on. Well done. You got it. Well done. Okay. Any questions? Any quick questions from anybody there? Anyone else? Shinyi or Giuseppe or Alex? Anyone?
Actually,
Great.
actually, yeah, there are a lot of not new and unique known words for me.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe go back to the YouTube uh, recording when I post it up there. Maybe that'll hopefully give you a chance to go back over it again. So, okay, let's scroll on down. So, Xinyi, with another photo there. This seems to be one of the bookshops. So, Xinyi, are you available? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, right here. I'll make this slightly larger. Whoops, hopefully not too big. Hopefully that's okay for you. Can you see that okay? So
Yes,
it
I can.
starts here, highlight, and maybe read as much as you want, really. Perhaps to there might be an idea, or wherever you think.
Okay. Highlights include the book Hive. I'm not sure if I read it correctly.
That's okay. Just carry on. Do your best, and I'll sort of
Okay.
point out any words where we could improve later on,
Okay.
maybe when you're finished.
Highlights include the book Hive, boasting a charming green facade, tables piled high with your next great read, and window seats perfectly for a sport of people watching between chapters. Nearby, the independent children's bookshop, Bookbox, and the Dragon Tales is a firm favorite, fam- famously visited by Jack Quinlay Wilson, who has signed their a dedicated author wall, and a wonderland where little ones can spend hours browsing its vibrant shelves. Dormer's bookshop is its shelves laden with rare and antiquarian books. It's yet another hidden gem, and it's sitting on Elm Hill. We will have you feeling as though you wandered straight into a fairy tale, and that's just the beginning. Strolling through the street, and you'll stumble upon second-hand books and virtually every term, from undercover books to city bookshop and Tomblend bookshop. There's even a comic book store, abstract book kit, catering to avid collectors and anime enthusiasts. Enthusiasts reports the Liverpool Echo.
Yes, brilliant. Well done. Well done. So when it says the Liverpool Echo at the end, that's a newspaper which is produced in Liverpool. Surprise, surprise. So the Liverpool Echo is the name of a newspaper. I didn't expect to see that here. Okay, so that was very good, I thought. I think you read the first couple of words a couple of times, and then I sort of answered a question for you. So, and you were very good on it, I thought. Maybe this one word here might be worth saying again, that one there. So I'll just say those three words to practice with you. So the book hive, the book hive.
The book Hive. Okay.
Yeah, hive. Yeah, just the word hive, really, but you've got it, I would say. And when we say the word hive, that's really the home for bees. So when you have those bees, buzz, 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 to make honey, they normally live in a hive.
Yeah.
So that's the name of the bookshop. So maybe they're thinking of readers, book readers, as being like bees inside a book, bees inside a hive, perhaps. And maybe I'll read this sort of paragraph to you. Also, is this word here? Can you see this word okay?
Uh, mm,
Shinji?
I think it's not English, right?
Exactly. So what looks like a C, it's got a little tail at the bottom. Can you see that there?
Yeah.
So yeah, this happens to be a French word. So this is exactly how a French word, this particular word would be written. That little tail on the bottom is called a cedilla. I think it's called a cedilla, isn't it? So yeah. So is so this word is pronounced as facade. Facade. So
Facade.
yeah, facade. Do you want to give it another one? Another go?
Facade.
Yes, perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's it. And it basically means something like the face of something. Could be the face of a building, but here they're talking about green facade, tables high, tables piled high, with your next great read. So it's talking about the faces of the fronts of tables, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so facade basically means something like the face or the front of something. That's really what it refers to. Um, I think when you said the word great, actually, when you kept that word great there, I think the G was a little bit unusual. It was okay, but we could just practice that G sound, I think. So maybe what we'll do is that we'll put the two or three words around it first of all. So next great read. Can you just say that again, maybe? Next great read.
Next great read.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. That's really good, actually. There's no real problem at all, I don't think. Very good. Were there any other words there that you sort of noticed and are a bit tricky for you?
I think there are many words.
Well, you did very well. You did very, very well, I would say. Just maybe I can answer a few before you sort of think of any. So some of them are just names of like a name of a shop, maybe. So this thing here, book bugs. I've never heard this word before. Because it starts with a capital B, I'm assuming that this is the name of a bookshop, as it says there. So, children's bookshop, book bugs. So that's a strange name, isn't it? So
Yeah.
as a name of a bookshop. Just below it, at the end, there's another name here, but this isn't a name. I think this is a writer of books, so an author. So, should we do this one again? So this is a lady's name. So Jacqueline
Jacqueline.
Wilson. Yeah, Jacqueline. That's how I'd pronounce that. Yes,
Jacqueline
Jacqueline.
Wilson.
Yeah, and again, please. Once again.
Jacqueline Wilson.
Yeah, perfect. That's it. Absolutely perfect. That's it. I did notice, I think when it came to the very last few words here, this little bit here didn't sound quite right. So maybe if I read that bit there to you, perhaps you could read that little bit again. So, and a wonderland where little ones can spend hours browsing its vibrant shelves. Do you want to say that again, that little bit there? Do you want to just practice it again?
And a wonderland where little ones can spend hours browsing its vibrant shelves.
Yeah, that's it, I think, really. Any idea what that means? Could you perhaps
I
do you
I
have an
don't
idea?
know what's vibrant this word mean. Vibrant.
Vibrant. So very lively, lively, full of life. So it's not dead, it's something is full of life.
Okay.
Okay. And how about browsing? What does browsing mean, do you think?
Maybe it means reading.
Yeah, yes. Uh, so it could be a bit of reading and then maybe looking through some books. So when you're on different websites, you can say that you're browsing different websites. And it's the same thing with books. You might look at a book for 20 seconds, put it back, then go to another book. And you may do that repeatedly. And you might call that browsing. So you're going from one book to the next, to the next, to the next. That's how I think of browsing anyway.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. So there's this word here, and it's right next to bookshop again. So this is the name of a bookshop. So any idea how you might say that word there? So this is the name of a bookshop. How might you say it?
I can understand the word mouse, but I don't know what does it
Hmm.
mean, dormouse?
So you know a mouse is a little creature with four legs, and it runs around and it goes
Yeah.
wee 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 like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
Mickey
that.
Mouse.
Yeah,
Okay.
mouse. I understand mouse, but I don't understand what dormouse mean.
And there's another creature called a dormouse. So it's an even smaller version of an ordinary mouse. It's just another kind of mouse, really, a dormouse. You could say the door bit stands for dormant, as in sort of sleepy. Sleepy? If you're dormant, if you go to, if you, so dormant means asleep, maybe, or something like that. Yeah, does that make sense? And so rather than say dormant mouse, they're called dormouse or dormice. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
So that's a real creature. I, I think it comes from German. I think it might be German. I'm not sure now, but it doesn't matter really. Um,
And what about the word anti-Korean?
oh yes, yes. So that was there, so wasn't it? Yeah. So you've heard of the word ancient and antique. Have you heard of those two words? So if something is ancient, it's maybe hundreds and hundreds of years old, perhaps even thousands of years old, I suppose. But if something's an antique, normally it's something like 100 years old or older.
Oh,
So I've got an old book. If it's 100 years old, it's an antique book. So that's antique, but this is antiquarian. So an antiquarian is is somebody who sort of is interested in old books and old things. So just lots of old things, really. So it's a very old word, really, for archaeologist. Do you know what archaeologists are, do
yes.
you?
I
Yeah.
can understand.
So we've only had archaeologists, let's say, for 150 years. Before them came antiquarians. Antiquarians. Or
Oh.
maybe longer than that, actually, but there you go. Anything else there?
Oh. Stumble upon. What does that word mean?
Well, I didn't quite catch that. So whereabouts is that? Is that in the last paragraph or the
Yes,
second one?
last paragraph.
Can you say that again?
Stumble upon.
Oh, stumble upon, stumble upon. So if you stumble, it means you sort of slightly fallen over. You didn't actually hit the ground, but if you weren't paying attention, you might have fallen right over. So, and if you stumble upon something, it means you sort of found it by chance. You found it by accident. So if you're going through a bookshop and you're browsing lots of different books, you probably will stumble upon some interesting books. But here I think it's got you walking through different streets and you stumble upon different shops, I guess. You sort of find them by accident. That's the meaning there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're running out of time a little bit here. So thanks very much, Sinyi. So if we just move on to the next person, that's okay. Thank you very much. So
Okay.
Giuseppe, are you okay to read a little bit here?
Yeah,
Ah,
thank you.
here's another. This is a pub, I think. Here it looks like. Let's scroll on. So I think there's only sort of three paragraphs or three sort of sections to read here. So we go back to the beginning when when it's Alex's turn, perhaps. So over to you, Giuseppe. Over to you.
Okay. Whatever you preferred genre, Norwich has something for everyone, with each independent bookshop boasting its own unique character, whether through vibrant wall art or tucked away nooks perfect for a peaceful read free from distractions. Beyond its wealth of bookshops, Norwich lays claim to some remarkable literary achievements. The city is celebrated for opening the first English civic provincial library in 1608 and for being the home of one of the earliest known female writers in England, Julian of Norwich. It also boasts the only National Centre for Writing, hosts its annual City of Literature Weekend, and the University of East Anglia, UEA, pioneered the first creative writing MA.
Oh, you might as well read the next little bit down here, I think, if you
Okay,
want to. A bit there too, perhaps.
thank you.
Yeah.
The city has also been a home to celebrated authors such as Katsuo Ishiguro, Ian McEwan, Aimer McBride, and Sarah Perry. It's also true that around 108 different languages and dialects are spoken throughout the charming streets of Norwich, only adding to its storybook reputation.
Brilliant. Well done. Very, very good. So clear. Okay. So anything you want to ask there or read again or practice maybe? Anything?
Oh, yeah, I know now the meaning of nooks, but
Ah,
tucked away, I think is something private, or I don't know if tucked away nooks in the third line.
hmm. Tucked
Yes.
away. So if something's tucked away, it's hidden. It just means
Mm-hmm.
hidden a little bit.
Okay.
The other way we use tuck. So there's several different meanings. So food could be tuck, but it's nothing to do with that. The next closest meaning, I think, is as a noun is a when you, or this is a verb, I should say. When you have when a bed is being made and you have the sheets lying over the bed, so it's not a duvet, but the sheets are there. You tuck them under the mattress, so you push them under the mattress so they're not hanging down. So it's being put into a small gap, you could say. Does that make sense? So,
Yes.
so these nooks are tucked away in small little places, I think.
Okay, great.
Anything else?
Not sure about the year, so I said 1608, but I'm not sure if I
Yeah, that's great. That's how we'd say it, I think. Yeah, 1608. Yeah, that's it. That's great. So I think Elizabeth the First was around, but around about that time. Elizabeth the First, I think it was. Yeah. Anything
yeah,
else?
mm, maybe I mispronounce pioneer or
Yes,
my voice is
that's.
not.
I did notice that one. So if we forget the ed on the end, so it's pioneer,
Pioneer.
pioneer. So if you're the first person to do something,
Mhm.
fly a plane or something, perhaps you've invented the aircraft, you're the first person to fly, you can say that you're a pioneer in flight, or you pioneered flying,
Pioneer.
perhaps. Yeah, so
Okay.
the first person to do something normally. But in this case, I think it's a particular university. They were the first, and it says first there, to do a creative writing MA. So, what's the MA? Might be. Do you know what MA stands for? Have an idea?
No, I don't know this acronym.
Yeah. So there's science and there's the arts. You can study science or arts when you go to the university. When you get a scientific degree, it's BSc, so Bachelor of Science. That's what BSc stands for, Bachelor of Science. So that's the scientific side. But when you get an artistic degree, it's an MA, and so that's Master of Arts. So
Mm,
Master of Arts. So basically, it's a degree, but in the arts.
okay,
That's
thank you.
basically all it's saying. That was very good reading, I think, there. Um, So, so this is another French word. There's a lot of French words which we sort of borrow and take into English, and we don't really change them. We don't really change the spelling, but sometimes we change the pronunciation. Sometimes, occasionally, we keep the exact pronunciation from the French, and sometimes we just make up our own one. So it can be a bit of a nuisance if you know French and you have to know, so it can be quite confusing if you already know French and we use a different pronunciation for it. So, but I think you were quite good on this when you said this, Giuseppe. So I would say there's a couple of different ways. I think this is something like genre, I think you said. I think
Yeah,
most people say genre. So it's sort of like that's close to the French way. So genre. Some people say John. I think some people say genre. I have heard genre. Okay, yeah, two or three different ways. And I think that the Americans say it's like different again, I think, possibly. Um, what else, if anything? I think your Norwich was very good. I liked your Norwich. Your pronunciation of that was very good. Norwich. So it's a bit tricky how to pronounce it. You had it spot on, I would say. And I think the word, it wasn't this word here, but it's a similar. So this is the word throughout. But I think there was the word thought, so just a T on the end. So not out. There's a different. It was a different place, but I can't see it here now. But there was a T on the end, and so it's the word thought. And I think you just happened to mispronounce it. I think doesn't really matter really. And I liked your how to pronounce these names. These are quite tricky names. So a famous writer. This is a lady writer, I think. Did they write a book, something called The Half-Formed Lady or The Half-Formed Girl? It's meant to be quite a brilliant book, I think. I think they lived in this town, I believe. That name there, it sounds very much like a Scottish name, and I would pronounce it as Ian McEwen. So this bit here is McEwen. McEwen, strange name, isn't it, really? That's really that's all I noticed, really. So brilliant, well done. Any questions
thank you.
from anybody else? Any questions about anything else, here, from anyone else? Very good. So any other questions from you, Giuseppe, before you scroll on again or
No,
backwards?
thank you.
Well done, Giuseppe. Well done.
I'm wondering, I have a question. University of East Anglia.
Hmm. Yeah.
Why? What originally of this word Anglia? It's in not England. It's Anglia.
Probably 700 or 800 years ago, the word Anglia was was basically the same as England, you could say. So Anglia and England are basically the same origin.
In our language,
Oh.
we use
Hmm.
Anglia for England.
Ah,
We,
that's interesting. Yeah. So
it's wondering
yeah,
why
yeah,
it's
yeah. So it's basically another version of England, you could say. Yeah.
yeah.
But to be more accurate, so there's lots of different counties around Britain is broken up in lots of counties, and this isn't really a county as such, but it's a collection of several counties are called East Anglia. Several counties to get all together are called East Anglia, and one of those is well, Norwich is in Norfolk, and Norfolk is in East Anglia. Yeah, tricky, I suppose.
Thank you.
Brilliant, well done. So when it says anybody, so what does the word provincial mean? What does that mean? So it's saying a provincial library. So what does provincial mean?
Something like in the country, like
Yeah,
country.
yeah. So it's not in the sort of the capital or the main cities. It's somewhere in the country. That's it. That's it. Well done. So Alex, it's your go if you got the time. So we go back to the beginning again. So that's the title. That's the first photo we looked at. And so it's back to the beginning again. So are you okay reading some of this out loud?
Of course.
Yeah. So read as much as you want, really. So I've highlighted the first couple of paragraphs. So over to you, Alex.
Mhm. Maybe my pronunciation is not the best, but I
Yeah,
will
that's
try.
that's okay. So it starts off with a delightful UK city up there. Over to you then. You'll go.
At the lifer, UK city, bursting with independent bookshops and cafes, makes for an ideal retreat for bibliophiles or who's keen to discover the city of stories. Strolling through Norwich in Norfolk on a weekend break is enough to whisk you away to another world, courtesy of its medieval and timber-framed buildings. Narrow lanes and cobbled streets are lined with more than 50,000 independent shops offering contemporary treasures, gifts, and vintage clothes alongside traditional tea rooms, cafes, restaurants, and bars.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So do you think you understood what was written there? Do you think you understood it? Or is it just lots of tricky words, or what do you think?
It was some words not tricky, it was just unknown words for me. Uh, but yeah, of course. But when we have read it first time, I try to translate unknown word for me, and now it's more clearly.
Uh, it's getting clearer. Okay. So maybe if I reread this first paragraph, we start here perhaps. Okay. So I'll read it to you. So a delightful UK city bursting with independent bookshops and cafes. So we'll stop there, I think. Read a little bit there. So the UK, that's where I live, the UK, the United Kingdom, and it describes it as delightful. So something's delightful. It's saying it's very nice, very pleasant. So it's a description of the UK, but it's in particular one of the cities in the UK it's talking about. So in this first section, are there any words here that you don't understand and you would like to practice, or any words there in particular you don't understand? Alex?
Bursting is like uh, explosive.
Kind of, yeah, basically. That's pretty much what they're saying, yeah. So they're saying that this city, it's just full of these bookshops and cafes. There's so many in there, it's just they're bursting out of the city. It's so full, it's bursting out.
I didn't catch it well. What does mean? I mean, in
If something's
inside.
bursting, it's so full that it's breaking. The outside of it is breaking, and what's inside is coming out. If something bursts, something has broken, and what's inside is coming out with force. So if you have a pipe and has water in it under pressure, and you have a break in the pipe, the water, you could say the water is bursting out of the pipe. It's flooding out of the pipe and around the area. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
It
Thanks.
it does.
It does.
So let's just pop it in there as well. So burst, and it says burst a pipe, burst an appendix, burst into tears. So if you cry, you can say you've burst into tears. If something bursts or it bursts, it suddenly breaks open or splits open, and the air or other substances inside come out. I was saying water. So it does say explode as a synonym, as a similar word, or blow up, break, split, and other words too. Okay, let's go back.
Which translated? Collins? Is it?
This
Does
is
it say?
Collins Dictionary, yes. That's right. This is Collins Dictionary. Yeah. Okay, let's go back here then. So, a delightful UK city bursting with independent bookshops and cafes. So, the independent, do you know what independent means?
Yep, it's freedom, something like freedom.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
not following anything, anybody.
Yeah, so if something's independent, it's not owned by a big company or something. That's really what it's saying. So, and these are like free, so these are simple bookshops and simple cafes. So let me just read that to you again. And do you want to read it back to me after I've read it? So I'll read it once, and then it's your go to read it again. So, a delightful UK city bursting with independent bookshops and cafes. Do you want to give it another go, or do you want me to read it once more? Can you read it once again, Alex? A
Oh,
delightful.
of course. I delightful UK city bursting with independent bookshop and cafes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. When you're saying this word, I'm mainly hearing just the first bit of the word. I think you're sort of missing that little bit at the end, maybe. It's only a small detail, really, I suppose. But so if we do this word again. So independent, independent. You'll go.
Independent.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Maybe it's more easily to pronounce it just one word, but when you read our sentence,
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yes, that's good. So maybe we'll do the top line here as well. So I'll read it to you. So strolling through Norwich in Norfolk on a weekend break is enough to whisk you away to another world. Does that make sense, do you think? Or are there any words there that are a bit sort of are foreign to you, we don't understand?
Maybe another one like courts of middle courtsy
This
courtsy.
word,
Ah,
so
yep.
we might leave that till next time, but it's courtesy, courtesy. So it's something similar to thanks to or or by maybe. So if I was to read that little bit there, a little bit there, so I could say thanks or by for that word if I was to replace that word. So I could say thanks because of its medieval and timber framed buildings, or maybe the word by, or by its medieval and timber framed buildings. So thanks, thanks to, or because of, maybe. So how about the word strolling? Do you know that? Do you know what that word means?
Problem. Not exactly.
So really strolling is the same as walking. So walking and strolling are the same things pretty
On the
much.
faster rate, walking faster, walking. Oh, faster
Cool.
walk.
So if you're strolling, you're just wandering around a little bit. You're not walking to work. If you're walking to work, you're walking with a purpose. But if you're strolling, it's a little bit more aimless. It's for fun you're walking around, maybe. A stroll. Okay. And so the name of the city we're talking about is Norwich. Norwich. And that's in Norfolk, which is a place in England, as we said, on the east side of England. So the weekend are the last 2 days of the week. Weekend is Saturday and Sunday. And we often think of them as a break from work, like a holiday from work. That's how we think of the weekend. And I think we talked about whisk before. So
Yep.
if you're whisked away, you're taken away quickly, perhaps. But I suppose also there's a feeling of it's something exciting, something a little bit magical when you're whisked away. So it's something exciting, something interesting, perhaps happens quickly. Okay. So if I read this back to you, could you read it one more go? This little bit here. Is that okay? So I'll read it to you once, then it's your go. So strolling through Norwich in Norfolk on a weekend break is enough to whisk you away to another world. To another world. So do you want to read that through, Alex?
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Strolling through Norwich in Norfolk on a weekend break is enough to whisk you away to another world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good actually. Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. So do you want to do those last couple of words again? So another world. Another world.
Another world.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty good actually. Yeah, well done. Okay.
Thanks.
Do you have any other questions about this little bit that you read out? So I think you read all of that, didn't you? I think. So any other questions that you had in your mind but you didn't get a chance to ask so far?
Except also new words.
Hmm.
Everything is clear. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. So Joanna, is it your go now? I think.
Yeah,
Yes, you've waited such a long time, haven't you? Perhaps almost an hour, I think.
Yeah.
Are you okay reading from here?
Yes. Yet it's the collection of independent bookshops staked floor to selling with novels and snack reading notes that truly steals the shows. It comes as a little surprise to stumble upon such a treasure trove of bookshops in the city of stories, England's first UNESCO city of literature.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's very good. Very good. Well done. So, were there any words there that you don't know the meaning of? Or any words you perhaps
Um,
want to practice?
no, right now I have to go. By the way,
You have to
I'm
go.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it was 1 hour.
It is 1 hour, but we've
Oh,
overrun because so many people came along. So, yes.
oh, okay, okay.
Okay, so maybe, yeah, maybe go to the YouTube and check out the video there when it comes out.
Yes, thank you so
Okay,
much. I will join next time. Bye
okay.
bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. So, does anyone fancy talking about Norwich? Has anyone been to Norwich? So these are some other photos of the place.
No. Have you ever been to Norwich?
Yes, but it would have been 20 or 30 years ago, and I don't really remember it, to be honest. So I have been there, but only just.
Which part of UK do you live?
I'm in London. I'm in London. And Norwich is perhaps a 3 or 4 hour drive away, I guess. 3 or 4 hours drive away.
Far from you.
Yeah, in a car. So I think while we were reading, it talked about a bookshop called the Book Hive, and this is obviously is that bookshop here. I don't know if you have these in your countries, but where my cursor is now, so this is a bollard which is on the pavement, and it's to stop cars accidentally driving on the pavement. But originally, supposedly, this was a cannon. So it used to be a cannon on a ship. I think looking at them, I think they do look like
Mhm.
cannons.
I
And
don't know what
so
is going
many
on.
years ago, they decided not to waste the cannons, but to turn it into something useful. And so they used them as bollards on the street. And I think that is a cannon. And supposedly the little thing at the top is a cannonball, I think, in the top, but they welded it in. I think they look original, these ones. So sometimes there are fake ones and they just sort of pretend to be cannons, and sometimes they really are cannons. But I think these, I don't know. Maybe they're pretend ones. Doesn't matter really, does it?
What does mean cannon say?
So a cannon is a weapon that you might have on a sailing ship. I think these ones might have been ones that were like a weapon that you had on a sailing ship. So you put gunpowder in a long tube along with a cannonball, which was like a bullet. You lit the gunpowder, and the cannonball shot out at great speed.
Ship, do you mean animals? Ship?
No, so cannon. So I've just typed the word cannon into Bing. So it comes up immediately. It comes up with a type of camera. So if I say ship's cannon, so these ones look like they were. So this is artillery basically. Let's go straight to the photos. Taking a little while to get there. So these are cannon. Let's try and find one that looks vaguely similar.
It's
Maybe that.
guns for ship?
Oh, that's right, a gun for a ship. I should have said a gun, really. Yeah, so this is quite a large one. It looks huge, in fact.
And it's just put inside in the land.
Yeah. So there were so
Oh,
many of them when war had finished that they sort of stuck a big cannonball in the hole in the end and stuck the bottom of it in the ground, stuck this end in the ground. And I think they cut off these, are these called pinions? I think they're called pinions or something. These bit that stick out so that hold it down. Pinions or something like that. And so this is a very small one. This is a half pounder or something. This one looks like that to me. Well, not
oh,
half
it's
pound, it's a one
interesting
pound.
fact. It's interesting fact. Huh.
Yeah, baby one, baby one. But obviously, looks hundreds of years old to me. So this is another bookshop. No, no, it's not another bookshop. This looks like a pub, a modern day pub
And
somewhere in.
is it
Hey,
possible to see this kind of things in nowadays?
The previous one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can go around London today and have similar things to these things sticking out of the ground, even now. Yeah. So someone said something. I think it was Shinyi. Did you say something, Shinyi?
yeah, I said this store seems like a tea room. It's black dog tea.
Yeah. Yeah, it does say tea, doesn't it? I think I called it a pub, but you're right. It's a tea room, isn't it? So this lady is on the pavement. So this is called al fresco, I think. Hopefully Giuseppe will correct me. When you eat outside, they refer to it as al fresco. I think that's right. I think that's right. So they put a
Yeah.
table and chair outside when the weather's nice. There may be cars going straight by here. I don't know, of course. And so it's just nice to eat outside, enjoy the weather. So she's looking at the menu, I think, thinking about what to order. So it's interesting. So there's two ladies inside, in through the window, and I can see one lady out here. I can see two ladies at the door, and over here there's another three ladies around another table al fresco. And in the distance, I it could be two men or one man and a lady. So it's mainly ladies. It's sort of 80% ladies there, isn't it? I think it's interesting that. So
Yeah.
ladies love tea
And read books.
and books. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. And makeup, of course. Ooh, shouldn't say that.
But I curious why it's called dog. Why it's called dog? It's black dog. It just Kale, just name the song.
I think it's just a name. I think it's just a name. But when you say black dog, I suppose there's lots of other ideas that come to mind that relate to it. If someone's a bit depressed, if someone's in depression, you might say it's a black dog mood, maybe, or black dog depression. I think Churchill talked about having depression and calling it his black dog. In the window, I can see a big star up here, so it makes me think this is Christmas time. But it looks too warm
Will
to be
be
Christmas. Everyone's got their bare arms out, so I don't. But still, it still looks like Christmas to me.
the Christmas in the UK is also a lot of snow.
Well, you can get some snow. Probably in London, once every 5 years at Christmas time, you might get snow nowadays. But in Scotland, in the north, you get it every single year, almost as soon as you get to sort of December time, I would say. Ah, and this is the Dormouse. The Dormouse Bookshop. So this is just the name. And really, a dormouse is a very, very small creature, very small. And as I said before, the door bit sort of means dormant or very sleepy. So for half the year, it's probably asleep or dormant when the weather's cold. I think that's true. I'm not sure that's entirely true, but might be true anyway.
I also read about people in England, England people tradition that tea.
Tradition, what? Sorry, what's the tradition?
A lot of drink tea.
Drink tea. Yes, I would say that has been true up until the last few years. But I think some people say that coffee is now a little bit more popular than tea.
Uh,
So they're sort of roughly equal, I would say, but probably coffee is slightly more popular nowadays. But in 20 years' time, it might have changed again. Don't know really. Down here, I can see the cobbled stone road. Once again, with my cursor is just on the edge. And this is the pavement or the sidewalk where people walk along. And these are big, flat chunks of stone. These things here are. And some of them, they're cracked on the corners. So they're cracked and missing little bits. And there's two small ones together and there's sort of a big one on its own there. So this is called the pavement. We often refer to that as the pavement. That's sort of very traditional, have big flat black blocks of stone like that. Right. Does anyone have any questions, or Michael or Giuseppe or anyone else?
Very interesting.
Okay.
Just how to say, get more rich to visit UK after this story.
Yeah, yeah. And this is the photo where we started from. So I would say this is quite a rare type of view. So in London, there probably isn't anywhere where you can see this kind of a picture. So quickly, roughly, I would say, all of these houses on the sides here are easily 400 years old. Maybe one of them is 500 or even older, possibly, because of their style, these ones on the sides. Down the bottom, they might be a little bit younger, but it's hard to tell. So it's quite unusual to have 500-year-old houses all together like this. And so I think in York, there's a sort of famous road, and I think it's called the Shambles. It's called the Shambles. It's a particular road, looks sort of vaguely similar in that the houses either side are many hundreds of years old. So because of war and because of redevelopment, a lot of these houses have been destroyed or knocked down in many cities. And so what tends to happen is that it's only where the people have been poor or where they used to make a lot of money in the old days, many hundreds of years ago, and so they built nice houses. And as time went on, they didn't make any more money. And so they never had the money to pull down the old houses and replace them. And so they've just been stuck with the old houses. And it's only in more modern times that people have thought, these are really beautiful. Let's clean them up, repaint them, and get them looking nicely again. So it's only when people have been very poor over the last few hundred years and haven't been able to replace these houses, that's often why they have remained. Otherwise, they would have been pulled down and put bigger, better houses in them. Because often there are lots of sometimes the ceiling can be quite low in some of these houses. But they're quite beautiful in many ways inside, sometimes.
Probably, do you like much your traditional culture?
It's quite nice to see it, yeah. But I don't know if I want to live in one of these houses. I wouldn't necessarily want to live in them. I'm guessing they might be a bit colder in the winter, maybe a bit damp too. I don't know, maybe they've been so modernized on the inside. And nowadays, with these houses, they have that's what's called listed. So they're sort of listed in a book, you might say, and in the book it says, oh, you can't change them on the outsides. And if you have to repair something, you have to be allowed to do it. So someone will come along and check and make sure you're not changing the house too much. So, and I think that's also true for the inside as well. I think I'm right in saying if you live perhaps Giuseppe, you can correct me. If you live in Italy, you can change the inside pretty much as you want if you live in an old house. But the outside of a nice old house, you're not really allowed to change it. Is that true, perhaps? Is that
Yeah,
true in
yeah,
Italy?
yeah. Absolutely. If you have an ancient building or something very traditional
Mm,
about architecture in a specific village or town, you can't change the facade. And also inside,
mm,
if maybe tomorrow you want to sell the building, you have to respect the original project, and actually you it is better if you do not change inside too. So for every building, but particularly for old buildings, it is better not to change anything. And if you want to work on that building before starting your works on the house, you need a specific authorization from an office that mm, takes care of old houses, or maybe, yeah,
So
something like
so this office will give you permission
permission.
or
Yes,
refuse permission to do
exactly,
something, a little
exactly.
project you may have. I
And
see.
there are cities, for example, like Bologna,
Mm.
where I think it's 25 years. Every 25 years, you must take care of the uh, facade of your house. So to have the historical buildings uh, well painted, in good conditions, with windows and everything uh, protected by the time passing.
So as time passes, things deteriorate, they get old, the paint
Exactly.
falls off, maybe they go rusty. So you're saying sometimes you have to repair things, and every 25 years you need to check that. Is
Yeah,
that what you're
yeah.
saying? Oh, I
If you
see.
have an historical house, you must repair everything
Mm,
in the part of house that everyone can see. So for so to in order to have a beautiful city and
mm.
well uh, conserved city with the original colors, because mm, in the example I mentioned, the color is kind something in between brown and orange. So that's the typical color. Like in this photo we have on the right, there is a color very similar. There is a building with kind of orange and brown on the right.
Oh,
Just the opposite. Yeah, yeah, that's
that one. Okay. So I would think of that as almost something close to terracotta as a
yeah,
color.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
which means basically soil, isn't it? Soil color, terracotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. So, what rules in your countries are there to protect old buildings? Or don't they matter? Don't old buildings matter? Is it?
Actually,
Hmm.
actually, there are some ancient buildings in my town too, from Russian Empire,
Mm,
and local government try to save it, but it's not work well. And sometimes, especially business, they change it. Sometimes, especially in facade and inside in the building, and even it's try to save, but anyway, it's didn't work well, and a lot of buildings, ancient buildings from 18 years, not years, ancient ages, 18 years, uh, was broke repair on modern style.
okay. Do you mean the 1800s? So
So
about 200
I'm in center, 18th center,
of the
buildings from
center.
center. Yep. Ah, I forgot this one. Thank you.
Okay. Whoops. So when you said old Russian, I was thinking perhaps the 1960s, Soviet 1960s buildings. When you said that first of all. So how would you describe these buildings? Are they stylish, would you say, or how would you describe them, do you think?
Do you mean subscribe this describe this ancient buildings in my town?
Yeah, maybe if you can, ancient building. Yeah.
Oh, it's ancient, but probably I don't have enough vocabulary to describe it on a special word like architecture, architecture. I don't have enough
Architecture. Yeah.
architecture words to subscribe it. Yep, I can do it.
So are they stone or are they made of wood? Or
It's stone, yep, it's stone. It's with really well, really well, really well. Well, inside in the building it is uh, not hot, not warm. For example, is in the summer it's usually hot outside, and when you go inside in this building, it's not hot, not warm,
so
middle temperature.
the
Because
temperature is pleasant. The temperature is
yes,
nice inside.
yes,
Okay.
because very wild, well, very wild, well. Understand what I mean?
Okay. It's hard to hear what you're saying sometimes, actually. So, okay. So thank you very much, Alex. So, Xin Yi, are you still with us, Xin Yi?
Yes, I'm there.
Do you have any rules about old buildings where you grew up?
Um, yeah. There is some rules, very similar with UK,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
but because there are very huge number of historic buildings in China, so in the past, many people they don't realize they have to protect these buildings, so it cause some um, damage or demolish to these old buildings. But
Hmm.
nowadays, people realize that and they make some rules, some laws to protect them.
That sounds good. The only problem is, though, often to keep to these and rules, can cost a lot of money. Do the people have this money, do you think? Or is it mainly ends up being big companies look after these big buildings? How does it work?
Uh,
Or is it not too expensive to maintain these old buildings?
this is the government. It's them. It's the government's duty. They
Ah, okay. I've got you. Okay, so when I went to China, I think I was in Beijing, and so there's a good number of old buildings there. So, any buildings you remember from Beijing, or do you not know Beijing?
Of course, I know.
Well, you
Um,
may not have been there. It's a big country. You may come from somewhere else.
um, yes, I do. I do came to Beijing about. I lived there for 1 years in
Oh yeah,
Beijing about
1 year. Okay.
8 years ago. Um, the building there, I think, uh, do you know the, I don't know how to translate it to English, the
Is there one?
palace. I don't know how to translate it in English.
Hmm. Is there a place called the House of Prayer? And it's a round building. I think it's.
Actually, we call it um 天坛. It means
Oh, I
if
don't know that.
if you translate it directly, it means uh heaven.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. That rings a bell. Yeah, okay. Heaven.
You
Heaven
see, Mr.
Tower, maybe.
Tony? Can you
Say
see,
again.
Mr. Tony? If you want, Mr. Tony, I send you, not you, just for all us, for all guys, some pictures, and from Wikipedia and from Google Maps there is some pics from this really ancient building. It's not ancient,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe
Send me a
not really.
link.
I did it. I did it.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Hmm?
So yeah, so Sin Yin, you were just saying. So, um, yeah, carry on. So it's something like
Uh,
no, heavenly house of
let,
heavenly prayer, is it?
let me search it.
Yeah,
I'm not
house
sure
of.
how to translate it
Mhm.
actually.
Yeah, please do. Oh, heavenly.
Oh, it was Temple of Heaven.
Oh, that
You
sounds
mean
better.
the
Yeah,
round
yeah,
tower, right?
yes. That's it. So, Temple of Heaven.
Yeah,
Let's try.
that's that's beautiful. But I think because these buildings are, um, sometimes people restoration them in
Restoration. Yeah, so
yeah, restoration them.
they undergo restoration. So people restore them, or you could
Yeah,
say they undergo restoration. That's it. Yeah,
yeah, they repaint them with.
repair them. That's it.
I think it's very how do you say? It's very too colorful.
Ah, okay. Yes, I think when
Uh,
I went there, they had just done it, and they were so vibrant. The colors were very new looking. So it looked
yeah,
almost as if it had been built 5 years ago or 10 years ago or
yeah,
something.
I don't like that way. I don't
Yeah,
like that way.
yeah, yeah.
I think
It's
By the
not
that
good.
way,
that's a kind of damage even.
Yeah.
if I can say, it's look like a Mongolian temple.
It does. Yeah, there is a Mongolian element here, isn't there?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely. There's probably certain influences. One has influenced the other, I suspect.
Maybe, could be.
Yeah, because the last royal, uh,
Emperor.
yeah, the last emperor is from the north
Mm,
of China, so
okay.
there is very close with Mongolia.
Uh-huh. If it's your neighbor, right? And you are also my neighbor.
Yeah.
So is there, I can see that in this frame at the top, there's characters up here, so there's writing. But is there writing along the wall as well up here where my cursor is or the pointer is?
It just decoration painting
Just
some.
decorations. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is mean this word, this letters on this blue flag? Blue flag. What is mean? What is right?
It's I don't know how to translate it. It's ancient word.
Really? Don't have don't
The first word
About
qi means
heaven?
pray.
Yeah. Hmm.
The first
don't
word qi means pray. Now the second word nian means year, and
ah
the third word dian means palace like.
Oh, palace, really?
palace?
Great Year Palace. Is that what you said? Great Year Palace?
It's hard to translate ancient
Mm.
words in direct way.
Do you read from the top down? Would you read from the top down? Or is it all the words get sort of mixed up in a sense?
Yeah, this word is you have to read this word from the top to down. It's 起年店.
Yeah, okay.
It sounds unusual. By the way, there are a lot of people from your country in my country.
I don't like the repent way of old building. I don't like it. I think this is a kind of destroy.
Oh dear. That's not very good then, is it? Um, so you can talk about a sympathetic restoration. So sympathetic, or you might call it very aggressive restoration, perhaps. But
I
I
think this,
think don't they
yeah.
only do it once every few decades? So but it's mainly just the paint, isn't it, on the outside, I think. Yeah. So have you lost what's underneath, possibly? So have you ever been along the Great Wall of China? That's the only other thing that comes to mind, the Great Wall of China.
No,
You,
actually, I didn't come to the Great Wall because I think it's too hard to climb up.
well, not all of it. Well, there are certain pieces again, they have repaired that. That some of that has been repaired. Um, I think there's always this problem about how much of it is original. There's always this problem. So after 1,000 years of repairing something, it might well be the case that there's nothing there that's original, that was there that the very first builder put in, because wood just rots away, doesn't it? It doesn't last forever.
Actually, this building, I think in the
Mm.
picture, this tower is only hundreds years
Oh,
history.
really? Yeah.
Um, but there are many sculptures made by stones,
Mm.
can last thousands years.
True. Yes. Yeah. That's the wonderful thing, of course, about stone, that it is pretty much it can last even millions of years. But of course, as the rain goes over stone, it does slightly dissolve it away. It can do over time.
Yeah, I think it's very beautiful. But if they repaint this sculpture with very colorful, very
Mm.
delightful, I think it's not very. Mm,
It's not very sympathetic.
yeah,
It hasn't really paid attention, you're saying, to the original makers of the temple or the
yeah,
palace. The
yeah.
sort of it's they're thinking about other people who are going to be looking at it today, rather than it's not really about the past. It's probably more about the future, in a sense, you could say, I think. Yeah. Okay. So talking about stone and ancient temples, so in Britain there is of course what's known as Stonehenge. Let's look at Stonehenge. So that is meant to be thousands of years old, stone. Now can I
It's
spell it?
big rocks, big rocks.
Yeah, big rocks. That's it. Yes. Oh, that's interesting. So this is the classic Stonehenge where my cursor is here. If I click on this one here, so this is I think they have found these mainly in Scotland, but maybe they're going to say so. Oh, I clicked on a particular picture and it's not quite what I expected. Oh, I'm not a member. I can't get into the members area. So let's go back to where we were. Um, oh,
Just people who were living in in land in the UK, Great Britain was very Vikings.
I missed that. Can you say it again?
I don't know how to say it correct. I mean, first people who lived in the land on the UK were Vikings, or
Oh,
Vikings were
Vikings.
like, yeah.
Yeah. So the Vikings were about 1,000 years ago, roughly speaking. But say Stonehenge is 3,500, even older, 4,000 years ago. I say 4,500 years ago, I would say, I think. But
Who,
the
who,
Vikings were about, roughly speaking, 1,000 years ago. So that's Vikings down here. So they often they came over from sort of Scandinavia and Denmark in sailing ships, or even rowing ships too, I think too.
so does it mean they were very not able to build this stone head, stone head?
In a sense, we don't know who built it, but we've had their graves in the ground. I think maybe they're called are they called the Beaker people? Am I wrong there? They're around maybe around that time they were using it. I don't know if the there were a group of people called the Beaker people, but I don't think they're credited with building this. I think it was the people who came just before the Beaker people. So I'm coming at lots of names here without really giving you any explanation. So maybe let's let's find out when it was, because I'm guessing at the moment. So I think I've gone to the website. The so the people at Stonehenge seem to have their own website.
Do you use artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence, are you saying?
Yeah, just my pronunciation
Of
is a
what,
bit.
say?
Do you use artificial intelligence?
No, this is just their website, I think, here. So it's about 5,500 years old, it says there.
Wow, it's really
Yeah,
ancient.
that's quite weird looking.
Once it's also from stone.
I think this is made of stone. Yes, clearly take a long time to make that, wouldn't it? So they've made it into a
Oh,
round shape, and then in the middle they have these little prongs on it, little sort of things sticking out, little prongs. So these little pricks are sort of like little prongs.
have you ever visited this place?
Yeah, I've been
Stonehenge?
there more than once. I've been there. Prongs. Yeah, I've been there a few times, yes. But in a sense, there's not much more to see on the outside than what you have here. That's really all there is to see. but they have had people do lots of surveys looking close at the ground and looking under the ground. And they say the whole area is full of other things which are under the ground. It's absolutely packed full. It's almost bursting full of so other things underground. So this is a stone circle. A few miles away, they discovered there was another circle, and it's roughly the same age, but it was made of wooden logs, almost like trees, in circles again. And I think that's called Durrington Walls. Durrington Walls. Let's pop it in there maybe. So Durrington. I hope it was going to come up for me. Maybe. I missed out an N, I think. Yeah, I've got. Yeah, I've just totally put the wrong letter at the beginning. So this is another circle, but it's not stone. But when it was made, they had lots of logs, but they were huge logs, really big ones. Oh, here we go. So this seems to be something like this. Or maybe this one here, actually. Look at this one. So they didn't have stones, they had sort of logs like this. And no one knows what it really is. It's just totally crazy. Not crazy, but it just looks very strange. Why would you do that in a field 5,500 years ago? Make that. I think this is, I think the logs may have been a little bit bigger. Or some of them are actually a bit big, actually. Some are bigger. So it means something. No one quite knows what it means.
Is this wood?
Yeah, these originally these were wood. Yes.
How
This is,
does this wood keep for thousands of years?
well, no, this didn't. So this is a modern interpretation of something that they did 5,500 years ago, roughly speaking. So the original one rotted away. It completely rotted away. But when we looked, they did sort of like a radar survey of the ground and perhaps magnetometry, and so that helps them. It's almost like so they can see through the soil, and they could see, I guess, that there were lots of holes. I imagine, and when
Oh,
they started to dig in these holes, they could see there was incredibly old wood in all of them, I suppose.
oh,
And so they worked out this is what they did.
okay, I got it.
I mean, it must have taken a long time to. It must have meant something because this would have taken 1,000 people a month to build, I suppose, or longer. And thousands of years ago, they didn't really have metal tools as such. I think they would have had antlers. So natural, they would have used animals' horns to dig these holes and to cut the trees down. It must have been an incredible task. I suppose they would have used a stone axe to cut the trees down originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been very hard.
Maybe. But anyway, with some tools it will be difficult to do.
Yeah, very difficult. Well, okay, well, I think we'll leave it here. So we'll end the class at this point, I think. So
Okay.
thanks very much for coming. It went on for quite a long time, didn't it?
Thank you too.
Okay.
Um, um, I'll say when will your next class? Is it possible to attend again?
I'll think about it.
Ah,
Okay.
okay, okay, thank you. Was
Okay.
very interesting, really.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.